What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the channel, your one-stop shop for everything Barcelona, from transfer rumors, match recaps, my thoughts, opinions, and more, all right here. If you guys are new to the channel, welcome. If you guys are not new, welcome back, everyone. In this video, we're going to talk about the winger situation at Barcelona, and more importantly, Marcus Rashford, as he's been a very, very popular name circulating the world of football as of late. And he's been linked with Barcelona. So I want to give my 2 cents on this. And then, as always, I want to hear what you guys have to say. So comment your thoughts and opinions down below. And then if you guys end up enjoying the video, feel free to drop me a like and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate any support that I can get. I'm on the road to 10K subscribers, so I'd really appreciate that. But let's jump in and discuss this whole winger situation going on with Barcelona. So right off the bat, this might be a bit of a hot take. It's definitely a little controversial, and I'm just going to say it. I actually like the Marcus Rashford transfer. Out of all the 4 targets, I don't want to say he's the most realistic, but actually he probably is the most realistic, and I think if we look at everything as a whole, it might make the most sense. And I'll get into it in a second, but before I do, if you guys saw my last video or the video before, I told you guys about Barcelona's plans and what management said. The Barcelona management said that they do not plan on pursuing any defenders or midfielders this season. So in my mind, it's either A, a winger, or B, a replacement for Lewandowski, or maybe both of them, which I don't see them signing 2 solid players. I don't know if they can afford that, so I would think it's one or the other. So this is really interesting because Rafinha coming off an incredible season, Ballon d'Or caliber season. We do have a criticism that he's not your standard left winger, and at moments it hurts the team because he's not able to do what Lamine Yamal can do. And I'm not even saying as good as Lamine Yamal. He doesn't take players on. He's not as good as dribbling. It's just a little different, the type of player that he is, which is fine. He's been unbelievable this season, but I do see how having a real, true left winger could be very advantageous, because just for depth for Rafinha, moving Rafinha into the 10 or the number 9, it makes sense. He can play wherever for us on the attack. So why I think Marcus Rashford makes sense. It's no question right now that, honestly, Manchester United, they're in a huge rebuild. Garnacho's probably gone. Antony's probably gone. Højlund could be gone. Bruno could be gone. Kobe Mainoo, there was so much hype around him. He could be gone. They don't even know how to use him in this new system. And then Marcus Rashford could be gone. Now, he had a good stint at Villa. And if we look at Rashford as a whole, just as a player, he's tall, he's quick, he's fast, he can score, and he's a really, really good dribbler. He'll take guys on one-on-one. That's everything you need in a winger, and he's very technically gifted, exactly the style of player that could be successful at Barcelona. Yes, I'll be the first one to admit he's been very, very inconsistent, but I will say we know the potential that he has. He's 27, he'll be 28 in October, so he's not too old. He's still at a decent age. The year that Manchester United beat Barca, what was that, in the Europa League? He had 30 goals that season. I'm almost positive it was that season. 30 goals. He was on fire. He's one of the best players in Europe for that second half of the season, 100%. We know the type of player that he can be. We also know that the manager of a club, the system of the club, the team in general, can be a very, very, very important part of a player's success based on the system. So we saw what happened with Antony. He leaves Manchester United and he goes to Betis, and he's doing really, really well. Scott McTominay leaves Manchester United and won Serie A MVP this season. Insane. So why could something similar not happen for Marcus Rashford? And he's more talented than both those 2 players. I think he's making over $15 million per season. Now, right now, he is on contract, but it looks like Manchester United would be open to a buyout at around $50 million. I think it's like 47.5. We'll say 50 to be fair. Now, everything that I've been reading says that Marcus Rashford, it looks like what might be the preferred option for Barcelona would be a loan with an option to buy. Now, if that's the case, I don't know how much of the salary Barcelona would actually be required to cover, because they're not covering that. So I'm not too into the logistics of the financial aspects and how that all works. So if you know, definitely help us out in the comments. But I do know that if it's a loan with an option to buy, I'm sure the price tag would definitely drop. Not drastically, but would definitely drop at least to 40 million, maybe a little less if that's the case. I'm for that, okay? I'm for that. And I think if you get Rashford, it gives you speed, one-on-one ability, and the ability to, if you don't sign a striker, I would 100% try 2 things. Rafinha in that role. If you have Ferran Torres, try that. And I guess you could even run with Olmo, how they kind of run him as that high 10, low 9 at times. You could try that too. Or even if you want to do something crazy, put Marcus Rashford up top, or run a 4-4-2, and you can have Lamine Yamal and Rafinha up top, Marcus Rashford a winger, or Marcus Rashford and Rafinha up top, whatever you want to do. There's a lot of different options, and I'm all for it, and it might make the most sense financially. Now, when we look at the other three options, Nico Williams, Rafael Leão, and Luis Díaz, Diaz might be the worst option, not because he's the worst player. Reason being is he's 28, he'll be 29 in January, and it looks like Liverpool wants like $85 million for him. And for a player that doesn't really score, for $85 million, that's going to be 29 in January. I just don't see that being money well spent. It's nothing to do with his ability. I think he's a fantastic player. His work rate is right up there with Rafinha. He's an incredible one-on-one player. He can dribble. He's very skilled. I think he's a great player and would love to see him in a Barcelona kit for 40 or 50 million. Not anything more. I don't think you can do that unless he was scoring you 20, 25 goals a season. So for that reason, I'm out. Rafael Leão and Nico Williams. Out of the four, Rafael Leão interests me the most. Reason being is he's the most skilled. And some of the things he can do, and he just glides across the pitch sometimes with the ball, even off the ball. He's magic. He honestly is. He's incredibly gifted and would fit this team. He would fit the Barcelona style. Problem is, would he fit the Flick style? I don't necessarily know, because you have to work hard and you have to hustle in this Flick system, and he historically seems a little lazy. Just the type of player that he is, he just seems a little lazy, and he's still on contract with AC Milan. And right now, I just looked, the buyout clause would be like $175 million for him. There's not a chance in the world that, again, we're spending that amount of money on a player who had 8 goals this season in Serie A, had 9 goals the season before, 8 assists, 9 assists. That's decent, but we need way better numbers if we're going to be paying anywhere close to that number. Even 80 million, you'd have to see 15 to 20 goals. Barcelona can't afford that. And I also don't think it's necessary when, yes, in a way, he'd be more successful than Rafinha for the specific winger role, but as a whole productivity standpoint, Rafinha blows that out of the water, statistically. So for that reason, I got to say no too. Nico, out of the four, I think makes the most sense because he's the youngest. He's on the Spanish national team. He has chemistry with tons of the players. Him and Lamine Yamal on each wing would be very advantageous, and he's in La Liga. But I think it was a salary problem last year. He wanted too much. Right now, I think he's on 10 million. There's currently a 58 million buyout clause. I don't think that's actually crazy. I think if you could get that for 50, I think it's something to look at. There's just a part of me that if it didn't happen last year, it's not going to happen this year. And to be honest, I don't want to be that guy again, but I know Athletic Club isn't the best club. They're still decent in Spain. He only had 5 goals this season and 5 assists. 5 goals last year, 11 assists, 6 goals the year before, 5 goals this year in the Europa League. So 10 goals for someone that's supposed to be an up-and-coming rising star. You know, it doesn't look great, but for someone he'll be 23 in July, you can work with that. I just don't know if it happens. So I think out of all these 4 options, Marcus Rashford is probably the most realistic, and from a financial standpoint, might be the best option financially. And honestly, it's what you need. You do need someone that's somewhat versatile. He is somewhat versatile, and he will do what Rafinha doesn't do. I'll be the first one to admit, bringing him here, there's a little bit of the only concern is he's just very inconsistent. But I think in this system, let's be real, he's a better technical footballer than Rafinha. Rafinha works harder, but if Rafinha did this well under Flick, I could imagine that Rashford would still do okay. So I would really like to hear what you guys have to say. I'm for it. If they made this transfer and they weren't spending too much money, I think it's a good signing. And if anything, it's depth for the club. So I like it. Would love to hear what you guys have to say. And out of these 4 options, who would you like to see Barcelona bring in the most? And then who do you think is actually the most realistic option and that makes most sense? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. And I'll see you guys back here next time. Peace.